let's get to the comments about Nico Iamaleava. And here is Josh Heupel talking about Nico yesterday in his Monday press conference.
Trying to pull it up now. Just give me 1 second, everybody. Just bear with me here. And this is Josh Heupel updating us on Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, he was with us today. Had a really good day. Feel like he'll be in great shape for Saturday. But you guys can monitor the whatever the report is that comes out on Wednesday and track it through the week. But certainly feel like he'll be in a good spot.
Is there any value in giving Gaston any more reps, reps with the ones in case he is needed Saturday?
Yeah, Gaston gets reps throughout the course of practice every day, every week, and that's why he went out and played the way that he did too.
All right, couple of things to unpack there. Today's tough question brought to you by Banks and Jones.
Today's tough question. Take a side. Take a stand. The Dave Hooker Show, a presentation of offthehooksports.com.
We can call it gamesmanship or line, but there is a real chance that that's at play because I thought Josh Heupel picked his words very carefully. He said he was with us. He did not say he was on the practice field, Caleb, and that to me is significantly different than saying he was out there throwing the ball around and looked great. I also, based off what I've been told, believe it is a concussion, and I don't think that a Monday would be a determining factor over whether or not he's ready to play on Saturday. So being with us can be being in the meeting rooms, but you would not necessarily have him on the practice field if he has a concussion suffered in the Saturday night game against Mississippi State. So that's part one. Part two, I think Josh Heupel just absolutely hates discussing injuries. And he said, you can follow along with the injury report, or it's called a participation report, just like the 2-minute warning. I mean, it's like college football doesn't want to copy the NFL. I get it, but it's an injury report. That's exactly what it is. It comes out on Saturday.
They want to copy the NFL. Let's get it out there.
Well, they don't, but they do.
But they are, yes.
Yeah, they don't want to use the same verbiage, but they
from the 2-minute warning to an injury report to an expanded 12-team playoff. Like, can you copy them anymore?
Exactly. So, but they don't want to use the verbiage, so it's a participation report, which is so silly. But that's what Josh Heupel is telling you to refer to. So at our 3:45 a.m. production meeting this morning, I told Caleb, I said, I don't want you to give me your opinion, because we were playing that clip in our meeting this morning. And I said, I don't want you to give me your opinion. I want you to give me your opinion on the air and fresh when we get rolling at 10 a.m. each and every weekday. After hearing that, are you more or less optimistic that Nico Iamaleava is fine right now? That's not to say something couldn't happen in practice. He could take a hit. He could be further concussed. That's not to say that he could improve, but as of right now, does that make you more or less confident that he will play Saturday against Georgia? And we want your thoughts on the message board as well.
Less confident because of the way he answered the Gaston Moore question. Because the truth is they tried, you're right, he didn't want to give an answer. And then they tried to hammer him to say, well, who's taking first team reps this week? Like, if you say he's out there today, what do you say? Wait till the injury report, but is he practicing with the first team or not? And what did he say, Dave? You know, Gaston takes these first team reps all the time. That's why he was ready to go. I call BS. Gaston does not take first team reps when Nico's healthy. I do not believe that for 1 second. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Dave, but I refuse to believe that Gaston Moore is taking first team reps away from Nico when Nico's fully healthy.
I think at most he probably takes like 10% of the first team reps. And I don't think that's unusual, with the exception of maybe Texas, who has two really good quarterbacks. I think that you're splitting them about 90% at most schools. And I'll tell you why I think that. I believe that because of the transfer portal. Let's be honest. If something happens to Dylan Gabriel or something happens to whoever, but Cam Ward at Miami, you're not going to win the national championship. You don't have depth to fall back on anymore. I can remember a time that Alabama, it felt like they had a game manager at quarterback, and if one guy got hurt, another guy could step in and still win a championship. So I wouldn't begrudge or critique Josh Heupel if he gave 100% of the first team snaps to Nico Iamaleava. I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably like 10%, but 10% would still be woefully low compared to old standards. Caleb, it would be more like 20%. But if he's giving all of his snaps to Nico thinking to himself, it's him or nothing, then I can't blame him for that, because I don't think Jake Merklinger is anywhere close to ready, but has the ability. I don't think that they think they can win a national championship. And let's remember, this offense has struggled. So if they've given 100% of the practice snaps to Nico, I got no problem with that.
No, I don't have any problem with it either. But if that means if they're giving some of the practice snaps to Gaston Moore, then they're concerned about just how healthy Nico is, aren't they? Isn't that what that means? Or am I missing something here?
No, I think it's kind of the old coaching acumen that you would always give practice snaps to the first team practice snaps to the second quarterback. But I think that Heupel knows that in his heart of hearts as a coach, but also knows that that's a little antiquated because nobody has quarterback depth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you're still leading it. You're still giving off the vibe that, so you don't believe him that he's giving Gaston more first team reps this week.
I believe he is this week.
But if he isn't, that is a concern.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, certainly it's a concern. I mean, if he has a concussion and he's cleared today or Wednesday, which I've told can be the case, then that doesn't mean he can't go out there and take another hit and get concussed once again. And what are you going to do with those first team practice reps? Are you going to suddenly try to get Jake Merklinger ready? I mean, listen, if he's not available to practice, somebody's got to take the first team reps, right?
I mean, you would think, but again, you would also, this is why I think there's a concern, because he tried to quell all fears of it when he said, oh, he was out there today, but then we anticipate him ready to go. But then he dropped the whole wait till the injury report. And then he said Gaston Moore maybe taking first team snaps. And they were like, well, wait a second here. You were so nonchalant as if you weren't worried about Nico at the start. It seemed like you tried to quell all of our fears. But then you say that, yeah, that's why I'm more concerned. Because based on what he said on Sunday, he made it sound like it's no big deal.
Yep. A couple of things on the message board that I do want to address. Unsung said that was the first interview. Mondays, I hear they don't practice on the field. Are y'all going to show the latest Heupel pressure? That's the only pressure he had on Monday. So I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to then or there. He has a Monday afternoon press conference. Then his availability consists of Wednesday on ball calls and Wednesday on the SEC teleconference. So I'm not sure what you're getting at there, Unsung. But Orange Blood says Heupel isn't giving anyone anything and the media members aren't going to press the issue. Well, no, I disagree. I thought they did press the issue, and there were a lot of people that were upset on social media by continuing to ask that question. Guys, it's not the media's job to continue to press the narrative that Nico is just fine and that he's going to play. It's their job to find out how likely he is to play. And there are not a lot of leaks, unlike the Butch Jones days where I could have told you if he was taking first team reps throughout the week. There's not a lot of leaks anymore. Caleb, I ask you this. If you were whatever percentage sure that Nico Iamaleava was going to play on Saturday against the Bulldogs, how might that have changed? The show represented by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com. Why Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott Jones. Banks & All right, Caleb, where were you yesterday? And has your mind changed after hearing those comments?
I think he's going to play yesterday. And yeah, my mind's changed now. My mind is they don't know how healthy he is and they're concerned. I don't know any other way to look at that, honestly, based on the way they said it. So taking that into account, yeah, I'm more concerned than anything now. And I don't think I'm unfounded either. Based on how Josh Heupel said that.
Now, I wouldn't knock you for that. Here are my thoughts. I was 80% yesterday, and I'm still 80% today. That didn't really change my mind significantly. So the poll question, how confident are you that Nico plays against Georgia? Less than 50%. Wow, that's leading so far. 51 to 79%, 80%, and then 100%. So less than 50% is 38%, 51 to 79%, 28%, 80%, which just happens to be where I am, 17%. 100% gets 14% of the vote. Now, I want to be very clear here. I am not criticizing Josh Heupel if he's playing gamesmanship and Nico's still seeing stars and he's saying he's going to play on Saturday, because that's what you're supposed to play with Georgia coming up. You can call that line if you want to be hardcore, but I thought he kind of danced around it a little bit. Didn't say he will definitely play on Saturday. I have no problem with the gamesmanship, and I think you could tell the frustration that he's had by, and a lot of coaches I've been told have had, by this whole participation report, injury report that has to come out basically because of gambling on Wednesday. Now, all that being said, Vegas doesn't think that Nico's going to play, because that number wouldn't be pushing 10, and Georgia is about a 10-point favorite. That number would be around 7 if they thought Nico was going to play. I'm just telling you, the guys out in the desert do not think that Nico is going to play. That number could move. They could hear some inside information. But right now, they don't think he's going to play.
No, or they at least don't think he's going to be 100%. They think he's going to be severely banged up if he comes in. I don't know if they think he's going to play or not. But yeah, no, Nico's injury is impacting Vegas, how Vegas is setting that line. And honestly, we're going to talk about this later, Dave, but if Nico were fully healthy, if you watched Carson Beck play last weekend, you would think Tennessee has a legitimate shot in this game on Saturday.
No,
so
I think Tennessee, with the running game and the defense that they have, I think they have a legitimate shot with Gaston. I think they have a real shot. And as a matter of fact, I went ahead and went out on a limb. I never make early week picks, but I think Tennessee beats Georgia if Nico Iamaleava is healthy. And I don't think in the 2 years we've worked together, Caleb, I've done a Monday pick, but I just feel strongly that Tennessee is a better football team than Georgia. Obviously, if you don't have Nico, that changes things.